Welcome to the show. Welcome to Your Thought Life podcast. I am your host, Michael Anderson. Today, we're talking about strategies for a resilient team. The big idea is to really unpack this topic that has increasing relevance in today's business environment, and that is building team resilience during resource constraints or with resource constraints. Whether you're scaling with a limited budget or navigating economic uncertainty/challenges, resilience can mean the difference between thriving or just surviving. So let's explore in a practical way some science-based strategies to really build resilience in your team, but not just for your team, also if you're in senior leadership or your entire organization. The challenge of resource constraints is something very real that most leaders, business owners, are going to face at some point in their tenure. Resource constraints are one of the most common and stressful challenges that we face as leaders, solopreneurs, business owners, senior leaders. It's universal. All of us are going to have to deal with this. With limited time, budget, and manpower, we're often left holding the bag, where the bag in this case is, I need you to do more with less. And we feel as a result of that stretched thin, and the teams struggle because there's so much coming at them that they don't have the wherewithal to be motivated. And that is our job, to keep the motivation high, that the output is what is needed to get the tasks completed. If as leaders, we don't really press the issue of dealing with these resource constraints in a very creative way, then we're much more likely to burn out our teams, reduce productivity, and miss some of the goals that the business is requiring of us to complete. But there's a bit of a silver lining. Resilience is a skill that we as leaders can learn, and it's a skill that teams can develop, and collectively we all are strengthened thereby. Before we sort of jump in and start to discuss some of the more salient points with respect to tactics, I think it's also important for us to understand a few of the key points that really aid team resilience. Resilient teams perform better under pressure, adapt quickly to change, and maintain focus even when times are tough. This is one of the hallmarks of a resilient team. And the research is abundant, showing that resilient teams experience less stress and are more likely to achieve their goals on time. In fact, Harvard Business Review study highlights that organizations that foster resilience see a 25% improvement in team effectiveness during crisis moments. This is the essence of a resilient team, a team that can bounce back quickly, stay focused in the face of various challenges that are unanticipated. So building resilience it's not a nice to have. It's an essential part of a long-term success strategy. If you are indeed experiencing issues with resilience in your team, you have to ask yourself, what should I do? And if you're not seasoned in this specific discipline, you're in luck, because I'm going to share with you today some practical steps that are backed by science that you can leverage if you find yourself in this situation today or in the future. What you have to do with your team is a bit of psychology, and we call it psychological safety. This is where you create an environment where the team members feel safe to share ideas and concerns without the fear of judgment or retaliation. The teams have to be so dialed in to your leadership style, and you have to create such a comfortable place that they can share with you literally how they feel. The reciprocating effect of this is that you get early warning about things that could move them to a place of discomfort, that could strike them off balance and hold them captive if you were not aware of it. When they did a study at Google, so-called Project Aristotle, they were able to confirm that psychological safety is the number one driver for high performance teams. That's us being vulnerable, that's us being transparent, and doing it in a way that is authentic, that the team feels that their leader is a part of them, their leader cares about them, and their leader will hear them out no matter how they feel. I got to tell you, from experience, this is not necessarily easy. This is a skill that you're going to have to cultivate over time. With practice, you get better and better and better. But if I had to underscore a very, very key point, and it is being authentic, being transparent, and being highly available for your team in an emotional capacity. Number two, this one is really, really cool, but you can't really do number two without the one we just left with the psychological safety. Number two is encouraging problem solving collectively. So you think about a think tank. In a think tank, you have a whole bunch of brain power. You have a bunch of brain power coming together for a common goal, which is to figure out this set of circumstances, what we can do to overcome it. Well, instead of focusing on what's missing, we shift the team's attention to finding creative solutions. We're not fixated on the problem per se and why it occurred. We recognize, we speak out loud what the issue is. We concur that this is the issue, and then we move swiftly or guide the conversation as leaders to what are your thoughts around what we can do to solve this. There again, you have that collective think tank where all of these minds are pooling ideas, thoughts, expertise together for this common solution. Positive psychology research shows that the solution-focused thinking can reduce stress and improve outcomes significantly. And people feel a sense of community when they are working together. Long, long time ago, our ancestry in the early stages of human development did this. And if you were on the outskirts, if you weren't in the in crowd, you had, therefore, no sense of psychological safety. And as a result, if something happened, you were literally on your own. That is not the way that we want to lead our teams, because we know that that outcome does not have the support of science for the outcome type that we need. Spend the time that is necessary to foster collaboration with your team. I just want to add one thing to this, which is also the idea of working cross-functional with other teams and your team to even further decrease the time that it takes to get to a proper solution. Next, we have prioritizing rest and recovery. There's this hustle culture of sorts that is in vogue at this time to sort of, get out there and really, really press waking up, 4:30 in the morning. I'm not saying that early risers don't have some degree of advantage. What I am suggesting, though, is that if you're not getting 8 hours of rest, if you don't have activities that you're doing that help you recharge your batteries when you're off work, and you're not looking into the personal lives of your team to ensure that these things are taking place to the extent that you can, then to some extent, we're missing a valuable opportunity to really prevent our employees from hitting a wall, from burning out, and from becoming disinterested in the things that they should be interested in to create the positive team dynamic. We should encourage breaks and model healthy lifestyle boundaries. If they see you doing it and you're leading by example, naturally they're going to do it too. It's not one of those things that you need to talk a whole lot about. What they need to see is you actively doing what you say. Research from Stanford University indicates that productivity sharply declines when employees consistently work more than 50 hours a week. If you've got some of your rock stars and superstars who just outperform everybody, but they're at 50, 55 hours a week, you have to know that that is not a sustainable model. They're going to hit that proverbial wall because the science shows it. The studies prove it. Knowing the situation is half of the problem. The second half of this is sharing what is necessary to prevent the sharp decline. That's you being active and modeling for them, prioritizing rest and recovery in a way that makes the work-life balance work. Then finally, when your teams are performing optimally, they've got psychological safety. They are working together cohesively to solve problems. They're now also participating in proper rest and recovery and eating right plus exercising. What you have to do then is use all of that momentum to really drive home the idea of clear goals, be flexible. We as humans have an innate desire to really have all of the facts. When we set out to do something and we don't have all of the facts, it creates discomfort. The mind gets really engaged and goes into this protective mechanism, and it makes us less flexible. It makes us less likely to pivot quickly. Clarify the most important tasks. Keep everything nice and neatly packaged to the best of your ability. This will allow your team to be much more flexible and not feel the feelings of overwhelm. When you set and provide clear goals and you ask the team to be prepared for the unknown, when it happens, don't let it bend you. Don't let it strike you as abnormal, because it's normal. It's bound to happen. Having this sort of structure in place where the goals are clearly identified, they know there's going to be challenges, but when they experience them, we're all going to come together as a team and work through those collectively. That further aids the psychological safety factor, plus the problem-solving factor gets to go full bore forward in an effort to eliminate whatever the roadblock or challenge or impediment is. Over at MIT, there's a study that revealed that autonomy combined with clear goals enhance resilience and performance. We're talking today about resilience, strategies for a resilient team. This notion of us having psychological safety, encouraging problem solving, having prioritized rest and recovery, plus us providing clear goals, prioritized, and asking the team to be prepared for the unknown, which is the flexibility component, just really sets the stage for us to have top performing teams. And as leaders, your actions set the tone. Your behavior sets the tone. When you prioritize resilience building strategies, your team is naturally going to follow. Again, let us go back for just a moment and touch on one topic. Psychological safety, which requires us as the leaders to be vulnerable, to be honest, and to allow the team to share how they feel, the fear of judgment or retaliation. Once you have done that, you have got the making for a very dynamic team. If you can continue to do this and to foster that psychological safety, you're now going to have a subculture within your team where they feel empowered. And when they feel empowered and safe, there is no limit to the challenges that they can overcome and that you all can overcome as a team. Resource constraints don't have to limit our team's potential. Building team resilience during challenging times is our responsibility. It supports our team well being, it gets us a sustainable growth, and it provides for us outcomes that are predictable. Moreover, when you have a think tank of sort like this, where everybody is willing to chip in something on the solution, now we've got complete buy-in in this team dynamic, in this subculture that we've created. Remember this, resilience isn't just a response to adversity. It's more than that. It's a mindset that you cultivate day over day, being honest, being open, being forthright. Go forth, do this, allow yourself to be a little bit vulnerable, allow yourself to be transparent, and watch how your team follows suit. I want to thank you for tuning in, and this concludes this episode. Do consider leaving us a rating and a review and subscribing to the channel. Feel free to connect with us via Linktree. The link is available in the show notes. You are enough. You can do it, and you are uniquely equipped to realize your goals. Until next time, take care and be safe.